I am answerable to God, but I am accountable to the human accountability systems that exist around me. Now, recently, I'm just learning that being answerable and being accountable are actually different things, but they all make us better and they cause us to be able to walk in the path that God has crafted for us and walk in it faithfully. Now, answerability has to do with our heart posture and our obedience, and therefore this means that we are answerable to God who calls us, we are answerable to God who created us, we are answerable to God who watches over us and instructs us. Like our lives belong to God, and therefore our walk on earth is directly answerable to Him. On the flip side, we are on earth, and so we are accountable to the human accountability systems that God has placed over our lives, be it our parents. There's a season it will be our boss, there's a season it will be your spiritual authority, there's a season that it will be, there will always be an account and a human accountability system that God has placed over our lives. Now, what I like about being answerable is that God is keeping our heart in check. Like our heart has to be in tandem with God. We have to have a purity of heart. We have to have such a common bond and a communion with God, so that our walk on earth is continuously in check and is healthy and is peaceful and all that. And so that aspect of us that we really need it. The absence of that causes us to be prideful. It causes us to think and feel that we are on the driver's seat of our lives, and therefore we don't need anyone above us or anyone that we have to answer to. We have to be obedient to. And so being answerable to God keeps us away from pride, and which we know that pride is a ticking bomb. Like for as long as we live or we are consumed by pride, it becomes a barrier for us to experience the fullness of God over our lives. Now, God puts human accountability systems in our life, and whichever season that we are in, He will always make sure we have accountability systems that helps us, first of all, to encourage us, to give us hope, to encourage us, to inspire us, but also to keep us in check, to rebuke us when we are stepping aside or when we are wrong. And so we also see this as, as a way of God just caring for us, as a way of Him just keeping us in keeping us in such a place where we are, like you're always reporting to someone and above someone and all that. It's a checks and balance system that God puts in us, and it is for our own good, because it helps us. We see this for example, in Moses and his father-in-law Jethro. Moses was going around counseling people. He was answerable to God for the call of God on his life to lead the Israelites, but he was doing it in such an overwhelming way that you can't be counseling that tons of people every day. You need time to sleep, you need time to rejuvenate, you need time to even just heal from some stories that people come with to you. You just need to detone. And so Jethro was that accountability system in his life, the father-in-law that told him, what, if you keep doing this thing as you're doing it, you're gonna lose it. And so he was able to counsel Moses to a structure that is workable. We see it in David and Nathan. David sinned, and for that he was directly answerable to God, but it is Nathan who confronted him, was Bana, what is this? What are you doing? And so that puts David in check. It makes him accountable. It makes him not be over and above. We also see Paul and Timothy. Timothy answered the call of God on his life, but he needed Paul for guidance. He needed him to correct him. He needed him to encourage him. And so today, this is just an encouragement to you that, first of all, give your life to Jesus, and then you can be answerable to Him. But what is more important as well on earth is the human accountability systems. Now we need to be accountable for direction, that we be encouraged, that we be rebuked in love, that we be, guided in truth and in the day-to-day things that we need to do. And holistically, we become a better human being, and we show up to our purpose fully and in a more impactful way. And then also we are healthy in our spirit, soul, and body in the process. So that's a check and balance that enables us to operate beautifully and successfully.